Right. Hi, everybody. I'm Lexi Nicholas. I write sweet small town romances, and I'm joined here today with my awesome narrator, uh, Nicole Swanson. She's done um, two out of my books already and is working on the third one. And I figured since the audiobook version of Firewatch just came out, we'll just have a little chat and just let you in on some behind the scenes between the author narrator relationship. So, welcome, Nicole.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Oh, awesome. I'm so glad you're here too. And I'm so happy to make this happen. Just this was just a spontaneous kind of thing that we thought up one day, and so that we're gonna make it happen. Let's see. Since since the audiobook version of Watch just released, um, well, we'll talk a little bit about that. But first, I want to ask you a couple questions. Like narrator specific. Like, how did you get into audiobook narration? I mean, this is just something not everybody does that, it takes a special talent, which obviously I don't have because I wouldn't have hired you. So tell me a little bit how you got started.
It's funny. I kind of fell into it, really. Um, I've been acting ever since I was 10 years old. Excuse me. I was very shy as a kid, and a teacher told my mom, get her into theater. And so she did, and it completely changed my life. I've been acting ever since on stage, and I've done, some indie film and a couple of, little TV episodes. But one day, and it was April Fool's Day, I got this email from someone I'd never heard of. His name is Craig Hart. He's also an author. And he said, I have a web show where I'm interviewing actors and writers, and would you be on it? And it was April Fool's Day. I'm thinking, who is messing with me? Like, is this for real? But it turns out it was. And so we did an interview together and talked about, my acting. And then a couple of months later, he was narrating an audiobook. And then the author wanted a female to read the female point of view chapters. And he called me up and said, hey, I know you do a little bit of voiceover and some acting. Would you do this book with me? I said, yeah, I would love to. And we did six more books after that together. And I've been narrating audiobooks ever since.
Oh, that's so awesome. That's a cool story. Yeah, and it's like when you narrate, yeah, like, I'm sure you're getting like super deep into character and in, it's like, do you sometimes get caught up in the emotion? I mean, I can just imagine, it's like, do you find yourself laughing or crying while you're recording?
I
It's just,
do. There's several times I've had to stop because I just get choked up, or um, I'll be recording and there'll be a character who's irritating who just causes trouble, and I'll just like, oh, for heaven's sake, I just say the silliest thing. Like, really? Really? And then I have to go back and take it out of the recording.
oh my gosh, that's so funny.
But, yeah, I really get into you see my little booth. It's a little dark, and I have a ring light on right now while we're
Hmm.
talking so you could see me, but it's usually dark and it's just kind of this. I've got twinkly lights and
I
I kind
love
of
those. They're
get in the
so cool.
mood. Oh, it's so much fun. You can't see my colored, I have rainbow colored ones on the other side of the wall, but you can't see that right here. Um,
Aw.
but yeah, so I'm in it. I'm in that whole world. Um, so yeah, I have a box of tissues over here. I have like all of the emotions are in this room.
Oh, nice. It's like I'm sure it takes some preparation too. It's like when you do getting ready for a book or so, you're just trying to get into character and it's like probably just the same as with writing. Yeah, it's like when I try to write a zine, I just kind of go like, well, what am I gonna write? And then I just have to get in the flow, but once I'm in it, I'm in it.
That's great. I really admire authors. Writing, give me a script any day. I can read a script and I can do it 100 different ways and love every minute of it. But writing, I think, is so impressive. Just to put the
Yeah.
story on paper, to conceptualize it and put it all out. So kudos to you. I've been a reader my whole life, so I've always loved books, but um, and I always thought that I was going to write one, but I think I'm just like the interpreter, you know?
Yeah.
So you have the gift of all the writing, which is so impressive.
Oh, and we need you. Very much need you.
Thanks. Well, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
What made you decide to turn your books into audiobooks?
Well, I had some hesitation because it's not cheap, just to begin with. Yeah, I mean, because it's like it's like I'm writing a book, a narrator has to read this whole thing. I mean, it's a big production process. But, so I got scared away from doing that. It's like, oh my gosh, will I recoup my money or anything? Because it's an investment, but it's very well worth it. But, and I heard other authors talk about narration. It's like if there's people are so busy now, and
Mm.
like myself too, um, with working a full-time job, writing in the evenings, running the author business itself. Yeah. So there is not a lot of time left for reading just for fun. Yeah. So
Mm.
a lot of times now I resort to listening to audiobooks on my way to work, or if I'm just reading an ebook, I have the device that shall not be named read it to me in my car, and then when I get home and I have some downtime, then I can listen or read the book again on my Kindle or on my app, whatever I'm using at this time. But it just makes it so much easier to do chores and other things while I'm listening to stories, just to novels. And I wanted to offer that to my readers too, because I get it. It's like not everybody has time to sit down and read. And there's something about audiobooks that's really, really cool because it brings the story to life, really does. Yeah, because it's a totally different experience. I mean, you have your own imagination when you're reading the words, but if you're listening to them, that takes it to a whole nother level. So um, that was the final decision maker right here. It's like I want this for my books and for my readers to be able to choose between how they want to get into my stories.
That's
Yeah.
lovely. Oh, my daughter also tells me she likes to read. She wasn't a big reader growing up, but she likes it now. But she
Mhm.
likes to listen to the audiobook while she's actively reading the book. And she says for
Interesting.
her that really adds a lot to the experience for her.
Oh, yeah. Well, I can imagine. Yeah. Because I mean, I've done some read along stuff too. So when it's like somebody like in a meeting or so, somebody would just talk about some slides, and
Hmm.
then some of them just really read along.
Yeah, right.
Very annoying, But then if you have the text in front of you too, and I read along, and it just sticks better to me. Yeah,
Yeah.
so you get like the auditory and the visual, and um, I guess with stories, it would just do the same. Yeah, I mean, it just adds to the experience, I would say. I should
Yeah,
try
I
that, like
think
for
so.
fiction, see what it
Yeah,
does.
let's see how it affects you. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ah,
Let's
so,
see.
well,
Yeah, go ahead.
well, I was going to ask you, since you decided to make your books audiobooks, is there anything about the process of creating an audiobook that surprised you or that you didn't expect?
Yeah, I actually, so both of us, we're going through what you call a like a platform.
Mm.
And so you have a marketplace where authors can meet narrators. And that made it so easy for me because all I really had to do is make sure that my manuscript is fit for reading because sometimes, because I told Nicole, I told you too, it's like if there are too many, he said, she said, all these tags, the dialogue tags, if there's too many and if it just gets in the way, leave them out if appropriate. If it's clear that the who is speaking, just leave it out and just to clean it up a little bit because I found myself, especially in the earlier books, was a little bit guilty about doing that. So, but just like that was my biggest work. And in the process, just to choose a narrator and to get this whole process started is just get on the platform, um, put my information about my book on there, and then upload the manuscript and a sample for a narrator to read, and choose a narrator. That's the fun part, because
I can
there's so
imagine.
many that you can pick from, and then so. And when I found you, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so perfect because I
Ah,
could hear you in my head already narrating the book. And then it's like, oh, I hope she's gonna say yes. So I
oh,
just picked you. And then when the same sample came back, and I was like, yeah, that's it. Yeah, so now I was so happy, that we met that way. And then all I had to do really is just wait. I paid my fee. Excuse me. I paid my fee, and then I had to wait because it takes a while to do the narration. And when I got those files back, I was just blown away. And it was so for me it was super easy. Uh, and that was really surprising for me to just
that's
yeah
that's good
just
to hear. I'm glad that I'm glad you felt like it was an easy process.
oh
I
yeah.
it was easy for me too when you whoop, my phone is on silent, but the volume is still.
But
Um, okay. I'll sit on it. It won't be so loud. Um, yeah, it was great when I got your message asking me to submit a sample. I was so excited. And then yeah, I just think it was just divine that we ended up together.
I know.
I
And
think
then
it's been
last
a
week,
really good match. Yeah.
yeah, and last week we got to talk for the first time really, because otherwise we're just always talking through messaging and on the website, because you want to keep your professional stuff the on that platform because if there's a problem with the recording,
Hmm.
so the company can take a look and see how they can
Yeah.
mediate and fix that. But we didn't need that. Yeah,
No.
it was just great. Yeah. And that's why I hired her a couple more times.
Well, hopefully these are going faster. After Twist of Fate, we had the hurricane, so I was a little worried to do Fire Watch because Twist of Fate had the tornado, and then a month later we actually had a tornado. Well,
Yes,
hurricane.
no,
And so
no,
then I was like,
you don't need fires.
yeah, I was like, Fire Watch, do I want to do this? But
Well, with the next one, you're gonna get a blizzard, so
and I'm
you better
okay. It's
get
snow at
ready.
Christmas.
Yeah, yeah, get it done before then. Well, speaking of Firewatch, did you have any favorites? Oh, actually, let me catch everybody up on Firewatch since that's the book that just released, and yeah, we're talking a little bit about that. So let me just give you a quick summary about that. If you're not familiar. So Firewatch is the third book of the Southern Storm series that I write. Um, and this novel, Morgan Winters is a best-selling author who was sent on a trip to the Georgia Blue Ridge Mountains, and unwillingly, let's say it that way, because her editor says, well, you need a little bit more oomph in your writing. Something is going flat. I think you need to immerse yourself a little bit. And so she sent her into the Blue Ridge Mountains and said, you're going to go camping, rough camping, for that matter. And so she's like, okay, I'll do it because she didn't have a choice. The publishing company is going to drop her. Yeah, she's going to be out of a job. So she goes, but she's like, I don't know what I'm doing. While she's there, she meets Sheriff Sean Oakley and his teenage son. They're on the campground for their traditional father-son camping trip. And this year is a little bit different because his son, so Sean's son, is moping because his girlfriend wasn't allowed to come with them on the trip. And so he's heartbroken and he just doesn't want to do anything. So everybody's in a kind of funky mood. And Sean knows that he only has about another 2 years maybe worth of trips before the kid goes to college. Yeah, so he wants to make everything just count and just get as many cool experiences as he can get with him while he's still around. Well, yeah, uh, but mishap after mishap happen, and uh, so the camping neighbors, they just started to form a little bond, and so they decided they'd go on a little adventure, a little treasure hunt, geocaching. And so, um, but while they're out there, there's a wildfire that broke out and traps them. So now what? It's like if time's running out, but if they can make it out alive, can that bond, that budding love, can that survive even if their lives are on opposite ends of the country? So I'm gonna leave you at that. It's just a little catch up. I'm thinking catch up bottle. I just figured, yeah, it's like if you want to hear the rest of the story, you just have to listen to it. But it's just wanted to give you a little bit basics of that. So, so my question to you, Nicole, when you narrated Firewatch, did you have a favorite moment in the story?
There's so many great moments in that story, and I don't want to give off and give away any spoilers or anything. But I
Uh,
mean, the top of the list is always that first kiss is always uh, so satisfying. So, but but I actually really love the relationship that Morgan and Grady start to develop. So some of
Mhm.
their interaction was really fun for me. Um, I have kids and they're all
Yeah,
out of college now. So I've kind of been through that whole teenage angst
me
phase.
too. Me too.
Um,
Hmm.
so that was it was fun to kind of play on that a little bit. So many good moments.
I love what you did with Grady, how you make it, oh, come on, it's like, I mean, it's just so authentic. It is like just like a teenager would act. It's just like even the way you narrate it, yeah, it's just the tone of, just do I have to? Or, oh, Dad, why can't we just go to town so I can talk to my girlfriend? Come on, trying to talk him into. It's like, oh, can we just leave early? Can we go home? So I mean, you did that great. So I love
Thanks.
that.
Yeah, we've all lived those struggles.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. It's been a while because my kids are like way grown already, but I remember those days.
Oh yeah, yeah. They're good days.
Yeah. Um, let's see.
See.
What
So
else?
is there anything in the book that with the narration that came to life in a way you didn't expect or in a new way? Anything that surprised you with?
all of it because it was so good. It's like when I started um, listening to it, when I got the files back from you, and I was listening just to review before I would publish the book, and it's like it's so cool how when you're first listening to, I mean, all I knew is I was reading my book, my manuscript over and over a million times, right? But then when the audio version came back, it just drew me in. Um, and the whole story seemed different to me, but it's not. It's just kind of just a little bit more oomph. Yeah, I mean, it's like I could never imagine, yeah, that what just the difference it would make to have a narrator read it to you. And as an author, I was thinking, oh, this is a good book. Yeah, I mean, not to toot my own
No,
horn,
it is a
but I
good
was
book.
like, because I was just so used to it, and then I hadn't seen it in a while, and then you're listening to it being read to you, and it's like a whole new book on its own. So I was like, oh, I wrote this. It just dawned on me because I got so sucked into it as I was listening to
Oh,
it
that's
and
so
just
great.
enjoying it. So, but one of the favorite parts that stood out was when they're going down to the waterfall. I think I know you remember that scene
Mm,
going down
yeah.
to the waterfall, and there's a lot of banter. Everybody is just having fun and just being on a little adventure, and and then Morgan trips and she just kind of falls into Sean's arms and a bit and just like holding on for dear life so she doesn't tumble down the hill. They have a moment and it's just so, I mean, when I wrote it, I was like, oh, they have a little moment and it's great. But when you narrated it, then it just the tone that you used and his hesitation when they talk to each other. And it's like, because a little bit embarrassed. They're just like, wait a minute. We just fall into each other's arms somehow. So that kind of, that just, again, leveled up everything. So, yeah, I thought that was one of the great moments, and that came out much better than I even thought it could be.
Well,
So that was awesome.
well, I love your writing. It's just so natural and easy, and it's just so easy for me to put myself in the scene and to
Hmm.
feel those things and just the I don't know if it's the cadence you use or the way they speak, but it's just so I don't know, just so natural. Everything just feels so real. I don't know
Oh,
if that's the best way to say it, but yeah, it's just I'm delighted every time I get to narrate one of your books.
well, thank you. That's awesome. Yeah, yeah. It's like, um, yeah. So, speaking of that, what in turn, and what do you hope listeners would feel while they're experiencing when you narrate this story? Just kind of narrator specific kind of question.
I've because I feel just all of that sweetness, but that realness. I want the listeners to feel the same thing. I want to be able to connect with them and and just bring them along for the right, like they're there with us, right? Um, so that's always my goal is to make it just something, just bring the listeners in and have them enjoy being part of this beautiful story.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. And you're doing definitely a good job with that. I mean, it's awesome. I
Thank
mean,
you.
that's great. Let me see. Do you have any other questions like that
Um,
I can think of?
I have one
Um,
question about
okay,
hiring a narrator. And you kind of already talked about this a little bit, but
okay.
what made you decide to hire a professional narrator versus AI or doing it yourself?
So the doing it yourself, I just crossed that one off the list right away because um, when my granddaughter was still a little smaller, and she lives in Germany and with my daughter, yeah, and her family, and so we had this thing. I forget. It's called a Tony box or something. It's like a little cartoon character kind of toy thing. It sits on a box, and that little cartoon character tells stories to them. So I would record like a fairy tale on my end. My daughter would download it onto that little toy, and then so she could listen to that
Oh,
story.
that's
But
so
then when I
sweet.
was, yeah, it is a lot of fun. It's really great, especially if you're not in the same country. And but the I was listening back to some of the recordings and I was like, oh my God, this is terrible. It's like, no, 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 no. I knew right then and there, this narration thing myself. No, not gonna do that. Then for a then AI came around and I played around with it a little bit. But the first book was already narrated by another narrator. Um, and I was like, oh man, I don't know if I can spend that much money right now, for getting the whole series done. And then I was like, okay, everybody's talking about AI narration, it's like how great it is. And I tried some of it, and I was listening back to like the first couple paragraphs, and I said, no way, this is not gonna work. Because it still sounded robotic, and even though the better models, it was still, there's still quirks. They don't pick up stuff
Hmm.
like quick, call 911. It's like, so click, call 911. So you have to go through and would have to correct everything, but then the emotion is not there. So it's trying, and sometimes it's misplaced. So, oh, I love you. Yeah, it's like, no, no, this is not good. And I put a lot of effort into my work because I want readers to get a good quality product. So I don't want to give something that's like substandard. And I was like, no, this is totally out the way. It is out. We're not going to do that. So that's when I decided to get the rest of the series professionally narrated. And just, yeah. And I don't regret it at all because it is worth every penny. And because you're just getting so much of a better product than you would, doing it by yourself. I mean, some people could do it by themselves, and some people do, and they're great. Me, I'm not that great at doing that. So that's why I leave it up to the professionals, you. And I'm happy. And that gives me more time also to write more books, and which I'm trying to work right now. So you get another book after you're done with this
Please, I
one.
love your books. I get so excited.
I think we're about almost out of time.
Oh, we
So,
sure are.
yeah, but that was a lot of fun. We should do that more often, maybe. It's like,
Yes,
yeah, and I hope our
absolutely.
readers and authors who are thinking about getting their audiobook made professionally and enjoy this video. Hopefully, this was helpful to you. And we just wanted to give y'all a nice look behind the scenes and just give you a little bit of our little what do I
Our
call
little
it?
partnership we've got going on.
Yes,
Thanks
we
so
love
much.
it.
This has been a lot of fun. Thank you so
It
much,
sure
Lexi.
is. You're welcome, and we'll see you soon.